Welcome to the Republican Roundtable. I'm Jacqueline America, your host. It is often thought of the people of color tend not to be conservative or Republican. However, our guest today is the communications director and activist with the Republican people of color, Mohammed Ahmed. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are
Thank you for
you
the
today?
invitation. Thank you.
Yeah. So tell us about the Republican people of color.
We are an organization that basically promotes conservative values, mostly Reaganites,
Reaganites?
MAGA, Maha, libertarians, anything that falls under a big tent under the Republican Party ideals of personal freedom, small limited government, and less taxation, more representation, and more importantly, freedom, liberties, and rights as constitutionally designed by the Founding Fathers.
Sure. And so, being an activist, where have you found yourself? Where are you a part of the Republican Party? Are you an advocate? What?
No, we're just yeomen. What that means basically is we pick on the Republican side. We mostly run with the Republican side, and our goal is to promote Republican values, the same so-called values that is conservative and, more importantly, traditional American.
Okay, traditional American. And so you've been an activist for how long? How long have you been a Republican?
I've been a Republican for over 25 years.
Oh, wow, okay.
Long time. Yeah. George Bush got me, W, before even W won, but Reagan is who got our minds going in the conservative movement. And what I would say is, today the flag bearer is Trump, so we are with the Republican Party as led by Trump, but more or less we're traditionalist Republican, old school Republicans.
Okay. And so you, with your activism, you've also won awards, is that correct?
That was because I ran a non-profit before this, which I still do, which is called Average Mohammed. I've been named a citizen diplomat by the United States Awesome State Department for the year 2020.
Okay.
And then again in 2018, I got the same award as citizen diplomat, the same award as Maya Angelou, the poet activist, by Global Ties USA, Global USA. And it's award given to ambassadors and senators and things of those sort. Sure. So I'm proud of both achievements in terms of achieving it based on merit. The merit was communicating against violent extremism of jihadism, against extremism of hate, be it Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, anti-Christianity, racism, and even anti-LGBTQI within reason and form, and at the same time to promotion of democratic principles, freedom, liberties, rights.
Sure.
On these ones we didn't compromise, and we went global.
Okay, wow. So tell me about your nonprofit, The Average Mohammed.
Well, we are a mom and pop operation. I like it that way. I like to do things small, less red tape, less bureaucracy, and effective with the bank, more or less in terms of training, curriculums, and programming for people across the planet. We've done it, been coast to coast, from New York to California, Denver to Arizona. I mean, you will not believe the spaces I've been invited to. Organizations I've worked with, from Ford Foundation to Anti-Defamation League. I mean, it runs the gambit in terms of outreach, in terms of working together, in terms of doing things together. And the goal is to say, look, we may not agree on everything. What do we agree on? And how do we work on what we agree on?
Sure.
Because most people think there is a lot of fiction. That's what people like to show, is this. But the truth is, there's more this than this.
Sure, we have more in common than what we think.
We have more in common than we have differences. So let's work on what's common. In other words, we're common sense.
Sure. So when you say trainings, what is it, like constitutional training, or what kind of training?
No, what happens is it's narratives. If you look at racism, it's narrative driven. Islamophobia is narrative driven. Anti-Christianity is narrative driven. So we create the narrative. When the extremists, let's take for example ISIS, Al-Qaeda, or Al-Shabaab, they create propaganda to basically propagate their agenda. We create counter messaging to propagate our values, and we win minds. You see, those who win minds end up controlling society. And our goal is to make sure that the American way of life exists not only in America, but these values that brought me here and granted me citizenship and equality and liberty. We may not be perfect, but it's better than most.
Right.
And those values what we have in common is what we export to the world. And I've reached over 600 million people, highly awarded, spoken at the UN, to all the way to places you will never believe.
Sure.
My favorite spot to speak in, schools.
Oh, absolutely.
I like
yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
I got 5 of my own.
Oh my goodness. It sounds fun.
Yeah, a lot of work.
What did you address at the UN?
At the UN, I was showcased by Institute of Strategic Dialogue out of UK, Europe, and they invited me to speak at the UN plenary on anti-extremism. What worked for us, what didn't work for us.
Okay. Have you been working in that type of stuff here in Minnesota with everything that's going on?
Oh my God, I've been to so many schools. Yeah, you will not believe, schools, universities. I'm a University of Minnesota graduate of communication, College of Liberal Arts, ski-uma, row the boat, always, forever. You know, and I mean, I'm using what they taught me, and I'm proud of that. My College of Liberal Arts degree.
Okay, and so when you go to schools, what is that? Is that things that are you coming in as representing the Republican people of color?
No, that was when I was doing the nonprofit.
Okay.
We compartmentalized.
Sure.
The reason why I became a Republican, it was in 2022.
Okay.
We could not do anything. Politics became caustic.
Okay.
It was toxic.
Sure.
And 2024 was even more toxic.
Yeah.
And now we are dividing.
Right.
So we're not getting any better.
We're having a breakdown.
We're having a breakdown.
Yeah.
And the breakdown is driven by the fringes.
Right.
They're very loud, very obnoxious.
Yeah.
The same way I'm dealing with violent jihadists and extremists out there, there's extremes on both sides of the political divide. So my services were needed as a conservative, as a Republican, to say, hold on, let's talk common sense from the Republican side. I love my Democrat brothers and sisters. We don't have no hate or malice to them. But they don't have all the bad ideas. But some of it is just not for us.
Right. So what do you think is the biggest threat right now in our society?
In our society, it's a political divide.
It's the divide, okay.
We are at a moment whereby the voices, and there's plenty I can talk about. Like in Minnesota, there's a restaurant that basically says if two legislators from a Democrat or Republican come together and they can sit and eat lunch together, the meal is on them.
Right, okay.
I mean, there's people like organizations out here that are trying to bridge the divide, but the fringes are too loud, very loud, and they've taken up all the space. And most people are here, common sense. So what we work on is not the fringe issues, the culture wars. What we work on is bread and butter issues: education, crime, economics, jobs, economic welfare, healthcare, drug addiction. These are things which are low-hanging fruits, which you don't have to be a Democrat or a Republican, you just have to be an American to find solutions to it.
Sure.
And we're coming from a conservative perspective: individual freedom, societal responsibility, and less government, but more we the people in solutions.
Right. So with like what's going on regarding immigration here in Minnesota right now, we're kind of just coming out of ICE has kind of pulled back a little bit. Are you working on anything with that, with helping immigrants, or because it's very volatile in the community? There's some misconceptions about immigrants. Are you helping with that at all, or advocating for immigrants? Or
I would say with Operation Metro Surge, the Twin Cities area lost $230 million in business. It didn't just affect immigrant community, it affected everybody. Nobody went out to restaurants, to movies, to hotels, functions, galleries, conventions, business, work, people were working from home. Schools were shut down.
Right.
They were doing remote learning. It affected our local economy. Whether you're on the right side or the left side of this discussion, we all lost money.
Right.
So what we do understand is, with the immigration issue, this is big boy table. This is federal government. And the federal government and the state government are at odds. We are a sanctuary state. which basically is a risky gamble by Democratic legislators calling us a sanctuary state. I say it's risky because under federal constitution, and we go by the Constitution of the United States of America, immigration under the Arizona law passed by the Supreme Court in 2012, Trump wasn't even president. It said clearly, this is federal. Congress, judiciary, the judges, and the executive office, the president office, have jurisdiction over it, not states. So this is a technical issue and a constitutional issue. And the best minds will argue about that legally as to what falls where. But what we do know is the effects. The effect is we lost 90% of my community's business. Our malls, our stores, our everything, and people just stayed home. Didn't shop, didn't do anything. That's bad business, that's jobs.
Right.
And we are all interconnected. There's no silo here in Minnesota. We are all interconnected. We buy your goods, we buy your services, and you buy ours.
Right.
So to say that immigrant community got affected, non-immigrant community did not get affected is a misnomer. We all got affected.
Right.
But thank God, I hope you don't mind me saying that. I mention God a lot as a believer of faith, but thank God, some reason has come. And the reason why that has happened is because 60 corporations basically said enough. Corporate 500 companies. And they said enough is enough. You know, and business community said enough is enough. And the public said enough is enough. But what happened down here is ugly.
Yes.
And we don't want a repeat of it.
Sure.
We don't want a repeat of it.
Right. So, being a part of the Somali community, what kind of backlash is coming with that community? What are people being held accountable? What is your opinion on that?
Accountability is something everybody needs, especially government. Otherwise, there's no we the people. If there's an unaccountable government, and every community needs to be held accountable. There's no shame in that.
Sure.
And the shame is when we prioritize political correctness over speaking truths.
Sure.
And I believe in speaking truths. And some people are speaking truths, and some people are just obnoxious. You know, they're ethnicizing the problem. And the problem is bigger than an ethnic community. The problem is actually national. If we are to believe, for example, the issue of fraud, prominent, labeled, ethnicized to Somali community. But they're saying, what is the catchphrase? 9 to 18 billion in fraud. We say, prove it. Bring people to court.
Sure.
Go through a constitutional process before you start labeling people. And more importantly, who signed the checks?
Right.
Where's the checks and balances in our system?
That's a great point.
And that's a common sense thing. You don't have to be a Somali or non-Somali. All of us are outraged on this.
Sure.
All of us are, because we're paying into it.
Right.
And this is going out one way. And the federal government is talking about balancing the budget based on clearing out fraud nationally, not just in Minnesota.
Right, yeah, California, things are coming out
Everywhere.
there too. Yep, Ohio.
Across this country.
Yeah.
Right now the focus is in blue states. Don't get me wrong, in red states,
Yeah, there's absolutely. Yep.
where there's politicians, fraud exists.
Right.
It's that simple.
It's progressives.
Well, it's not only progressive, it's greed.
Absolutely, yeah.
And why we are called we the people and a constitutional republic is because we can hold them accountable.
Sure.
Accountability is a dirty word to people used to dipping into your pockets.
Right.
All our
Absolutely.
pockets. We pay for it.
Absolutely, yep.
So our goal is to say common sense. Is there anything the Democrats who are putting their head in the sand about this fraud issue, and the Republicans are shouting from the rooftops that they can come together and stop this? When I came to Minnesota, we didn't have this problem. But now we do. We're the laughingstock of the country and the world. There's not one day goes by without us making a headline for something, excuse my French, stupid.
Right.
That basically common sense people in charge should be able to take care of.
Absolutely.
I'll give you an example. The county of Minnesota, Hennepin, which we're in, spends, the budget is $3.1 billion.
Right.
And some of this money goes to NGOs to process and do the work for the local government. And we asked, who accounts for them? They say the department within them. And then we asked, who does that department report to? They report to Human Health Services. And which department do they report to in the Human Health Services? Well, that department got terminated.
Right.
So who's watching who?
Right.
And who arranged that format? And people are complaining about abuse. The abuse is systematic,
Sure.
not ethnicized. People will take advantage where there is systematic issues, where they can go through loopholes. And the loophole is there's nobody watching your wallet in Minnesota.
Right.
And we can blame one party for that because they're in
Well,
charge.
And
if you're in
there were
charge,
whistleblowers too that
Yeah.
brought issues to people, and our attorney general and the governor were made aware of those things, and they did not act upon it.
I believe it's
Yeah,
because
so-
of political correctness.
Political correctness. Okay.
And because they don't want to torment their base. These
Sure.
people vote. Everybody votes.
Sure.
But this is their base, the NGO infrastructure and the system that we got in place in Minnesota is a base for a party. It's a handout system. I'll give you the handout.
It's not empowering.
You give
Yeah.
me power to take care of you. There is a need. I'm not going to call myself and say there's no need. Poverty exists.
Right.
Poor people exist.
Right.
And people need health care, good education. They need access to resources and food, for God's sakes. People got to eat to live.
Right.
These are things which it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a Christian, Muslim, or Jew, or even an atheist, or even an unbeliever. It's just human.
Right.
But we want to take care of the least, the kids, and the seniors, the adults who put in already into the system,
Right.
and our veterans, and the people who basically qualify for it, the disabled, the mentally ill, and those who have drug addiction issues.
Right.
I mean, this is just human. But in terms of this blanket system of we'll give you, vote for us,
Right.
and then you vote against your own values, well, guess what?
Right.
As a Republican, I can proudly say the handout is being limited.
Yep.
So why are you voting against your values? And that's the case we can make as Republican people of color. What are our values? We want better education. In Minnesota, 18% of black kids graduate with learning at the English grade level. 52% of white kids do. What happened to 48% of our white kids?
Right.
What happened to the other
Right. Why aren't they engaged?
87% of our black kids and Hispanics and Native Americans? And the Asians are doing as good as the white folks. But at the end of the day, what happened to our kids? We're graduating them. They can't do math, they can't do English, but they're woke.
Right.
They know all their rights.
Right,
They know that
right.
this is stolen land. They know that, I mean, I'm like,
They know there's 26 genders.
what we want to know is, can they do math, English, engineering,
Right.
technology, and more importantly, keep this other stuff out of it.
Right.
So as Republicans, we say to the people of color, these are your values. You want your kids educated because you want them to have a better job.
Right.
And to have a better job, you need education.
Sure.
And to have education, we promote school choice.
Do you think that there's a language barrier at all? Do you think that can be an issue at all with some of the immigrant communities? I mean, do you think?
Minnesota is one of the greatest states in the country in terms of giving access to language barriers.
Okay.
We're one of the best states in the world, actually, not just
Sure.
in America. But English is the lingua franca of America. If you want to do business, you want to go to work, we speak English. You ain't got time to learn Somali.
Yeah,
And
it's a little different.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And nobody else got time to learn other languages. And if you go by other languages and we start siloing ourselves, we lose the base. We must have a lowest common language, and English is it. So when people say we gotta speak English, I say that's common sense. Because I hablo español. I speak also Hmong a little bit. I speak Oromo and many other languages
Sure.
to get by as a businessman. But the lingua franca we prefer to do business and education and move this country forward and this state forward is English. And that's just common sense.
Right. Do you think that because the schools aren't, their focus isn't reading, writing, and arithmetic, do you think that helps to keep people down, that they're not advancing in their careers and things like that, because it doesn't seem like with the pronouns and all that silly stuff, it takes away from just the core values of who we are and what we're about. And so do you think is that something that the Republican people of color, is that something that you do training for, or how do you think we can change that besides legislation? What do you think would work?
I would say, I have said this many times, if that works for you, keep your system. But it doesn't work for us.
Okay.
What we prefer is a divorce. But not a divorce in terms of we separate, in terms of we build competing systems. And how you do that. For example, Minnesota is the 19th now in education. We used to be in the top 5.
Right.
Alabama beat us.
What? Wow.
Think about that for a second, Minnesotans. Alabama beat us. Alabama just passed school voucher. Basically, any parent can go, take their kids, take the check. We spend about $22,000 to $25,000 a year on a kid, and the kid, we give it to parents. Who do you think better knows the kids?
Right.
Washington, D.C., or St. Paul, or you, the parent?
Yep, the parents, yep.
It's we the people. We want to bring back localized government, power back to the people. I call it free people power. Free people power is predicated on personal responsibility, parental responsibility. If the parent doesn't do their homework and they send their kids to the wrong school, that's on them.
Right.
But the parents who want to escape this rat race and keep their cultures, their faith, their values, give them an option.
Right.
And that's why we're Republicans.
To be involved with your children.
And that's why I work with churches, synagogues, and mosques, and people along those lines who say, okay, on this, we have something in common.
Yeah, right.
And that's how we create the Republican people of color, because we got to make that case to our communities. And we're having traction in it. What's limiting us is, well, you know about the GOP in Minnesota. I'm not going to talk about it. It's our dirty laundry. They do absolutely nothing in our communities. They're forfeited. Now, here's the beautiful part. They will tell you, Republicans across the state will tell you, and across the country, well, Democrats are only blue cities. Well, unless you cater to geography, that's where the population centers are. And there's conservatives here in our blue cities. In Hennepin, Anoka, Dakota, and Ramsey County, where I'm focused on, there's a lot of conservatives who we are just not even making the case to.
Well, we have limited numbers, right? And also a lot of, we don't have union money, we don't have a lot of funding, and then we had a lot of our donors leave the state.
Well, they don't like backing losers.
So there's a lot
10 years of losing, come on, man.
Yeah.
You put in money into a losing proposition.
Yeah, yep, and we're going to find out. I mean, a lot of the voting fraud is starting to surface now too, and we're going to start finding out about that too. But it's just being in the 5th Congressional District here in the city, there are a lot of volunteers that are trying to do things, but it's hard because we're so outnumbered, and then there's no money. And a lot of people...
It's not outnumbered, it's strategy.
It's strategy too, yes.
We don't have a strategy.
Right.
Our narrative is off, our strategy is off, our process is off.
Okay.
And when I say narrative, how do you talk to our communities, people of color? Well, you have to put the issues on the table, don't you? You can't bring us whitewash candidates who look like us but basically speak like you and say, these are your leaders. I'll give you a very good example. Last night, all the black candidates who are running as MAGA and Republicans lost in Florida and other states. Because why? Because even the community knows our whitewash candidate. They speak like you, but more importantly, where are our issues on the table? You don't want our issues on the table, but you want our votes. Put our issues on the table. What's our issues? We want education. We want health care, affordable. We don't want a handout. We want a hand up. What a hand up means, jobs, education improved, upskilling, and more importantly, leave us alone. Get the government as much as you can out of our lives.
Exactly.
As reasonably as you can do it.
We have had candidates run like that, though. I mean, the Republican Party in the last election had the most diverse candidates, and they were saying those messages. It's just, you know, Minneapolis is 7-1 conservatives to Democrats, but yeah, there is messaging there that we do need to work on, and I don't think a lot of people are ignoring it, but there is some. It needs more party building, and we do have affiliates in the party where we're trying to do that outreach, but it's hard.
We're all silos, each one doing their own thing. I'm doing my thing, someone else is doing their thing, everyone else is doing their thing. There's no coordination. You know why? Minneapolis is 7-1, Democrats, progressive, socialists, and some are outright communist now.
Right,
and 1 to Republicans. Yeah. The reason why is because you're fighting a machine.
Right.
It's coordinated from the top down.
From the schools.
From the federal level to the state level, to the NGO, to the activists, to the people who are actually on the ground registering people to vote.
Right, exactly.
It's a machine.
Yep.
And here we are silos trying to do something.
Right.
You can't beat a machine.
Right. Yeah.
Unless our silos come together.
Right.
We ain't gotta agree on everything.
Right.
We ain't even gotta like each other.
Right.
But we know this, when we lose, all of us are affected.
Sure. So Republican people of color, that brings everyone in together. I like that.
Yeah. It's people of color, and we bring our issues on the table. And what are issues? Bread and butter, not culture wars. Culture wars will do a little bit.
Right.
But more importantly,
that's more of distraction.
Culture wars is a wedge.
Sure.
It won't put food on my table.
Right.
Or anybody else's table.
Right. Well, I've looked at your website, and it's a really great resource. It really talks about the Constitution. It seems like a lot of things are geared around the Constitution. So
it's an awesome document. We are 250 years America.
Right,
It kept us going.
Woo. Yeah, that's right. So it's really good. I'm absolutely going to be going to this a lot because you have great topics that are really current. So tell us, we're going to wind it up here, but tell us how we can find out more about your cause and
my
what you're doing
organization
and
is
up
called
to.
Republican People of Color. You go to www.r, as in Robert, Republican, P, people, O of color, C-O-L-R. So rpoc.org. Reach out, rpoc.org. Reach out. Pitch in an idea. If you can't pitch in an idea, pitch in resources. If you can't pitch in resources, invite us. We're good for the talk. Are we not good for the talk?
Absolutely. Very inspiring and learning a lot.
We're all points of light. I'm a big tent Reaganite. What that means basically is whatever your value, whatever you stand on, as long as you're a Republican.
That's right.
You know,
right.
We got a state to save.
Yeah.
We want things to go back to normal.
Any events coming up?
Events, none so far. We're more focused on the primary.
Okay.
And I'm teaching people how to do this work.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Come back and update us on what you're working on, will you?
Invite me.
It's a pleasure to have you.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you all for watching this. Roundtable Minnesota.
Thank you for joining us on the Republican Roundtable. We'll see you next time.